Hi everyone, welcome to my channel. So today we'll start initial configuration of the FortiGate Firewall, where we'll see how to take console of the firewall and do the configuration of management port, and then interface configuration for LAN, WAN and DMZ, and after that we'll configure the required policies on the firewall. So I have just logged into the ENG. So just create a lab day one, and I'll take the node Fortinet. Uh, you don't change the CPU, RAM, anything here. Okay, just keep it like this, and then this Fortinet firewall has four interface by default. So usually in the corporate for management we take separate interface. So I'll do the same here. So I'll take four switches as well. So why I'm taking four switches for every interface, every different segment, I'm taking one switches, like for one for management, one for LAN, one for WAN, and one for a DMG. You can do same configuration is in one switch as well. Like you need to create multiple VLAN, and then you can segregate the segments. But what I'm doing here to make it look simple, I'm taking the separate switches. Let's connect all the interfaces and give it name here, like LAN, WAN, DMG, and management. So this is LAN, duplicate, this is WAN, DMG, and management. And this will become DMG. Now I'll connect management interface here for my PC. So that is going to be cloud 2, and management cloud for internet. I'll put some PC on DMG, and some on the lab. Sorry, LAN. Let's start the firewall and other devices one by one. And we'll decide the subnet also. Like for DMG, I'm going to use 172.16.1.0/24. Okay, so this is for my DMG network. For management, I'll use 192.168.1.0/24. For LAN network, I'll use 2.0/24. And when we'll get it IP from DSCP itself. So just try to connect firewall. So I guess firewall is up now. So this is first time we are configuring the firewall. So the default credential is admin. There is no password. So don't type anything here. Just press enter and type the password which you want to give. So I am giving it here admin only. Easy to remember. Okay. Now we have to see which port we are using it for management access. Okay, so I'm using it here port 1. Okay, so we'll give 192.168.1.10 IP to the port 1. So this is the command to go to into interface configuration mode. If you type show here, you can see all the ports. Okay, port 1, port 2, port 3, port 4. So we'll change the IP for port 1. So edit port 1. And also if you notice here, it is on DSCP mode. So we'll have to make it as static first, then only we can configure the IP address. I'm using .10 for the gateway and for management access HTTP, HTTPS, SSH, FGFM should be enabled. But for now, I'll take HTTP only, but I'm enabling everything. Okay. And so and is very important here. If you don't put and, then it will not get saved. Okay. So put and, type and then press enter. Okay. If you type here show system interface, you can see the IP address here. It is configured port 1. Okay. Now I'll check. So this management PC is my system only, the host system, and this is the interface which is connected to the firewall port 1. Okay, so I have already configured the IP address here 192.168.1.1. So I guess I should be able to reach the firewall. So I'm just trying to ping my system from the firewall first. I'm able to ping. Now I'll try to connect from browser. Okay, take one window 192.168.1.10. Okay, I'm able to access. Username is password, admin only, hostname default. Now this is the GUI interface of the FortiGate firewall. Uh, okay, you can see CPU memory utilization here in the allocated CPU and RAM. So for the interface configuration, we'll go to the interfaces. So go to the network, then interfaces. For now, we have configured only port 1. Okay, so we'll give it alias here like management. You can just select LAN, okay, or undefined. So, so this interface is reserved for only management. Why we have, taken separate interface management? So that corporate users cannot access FortiGate firewall. Okay, so they shouldn't get access of the this GUI interface or SSH of Fortinet firewall. That is why we have taken separate interface, and we have allowed this HTTPS HTTP on this interface only. For other interface, we will just allow the ping to check the connectivity and reachability towards firewall. So we'll configure the port 2. Port 2 we are using for DMG. So just type ls DMG and role should be DMG. This is the subnet, and for gateway we'll take 10 only. So everywhere we'll use 10. Okay, 172.16.1.10/24. And for administrative access, as I already mentioned, we'll allow only ping here just to check the connectivity, okay, from user system or from DMG servers. Interface should be enabled. So this is configured. Now port 3 is WAN interface. We can mention here internet and WAN ping, and so our WAN router is already configured. So DSCP server is there. So this should get IP from DSCP. Okay. Okay. Now if you see here, we have received the IP address, DNS and gateway. So WAN is configured. Now I should be able to reach the internet. Okay. So we can click here for CLI console, execute ping google.com. Now from firewall, internet connectivity is there. Okay. So I'm able to reach the internet, and port 4 will configure for LAN. Allow ping. We are using 192.168.2.10/24. So all the interface has been configured. Okay. So this we don't need. We can unselect. So if you see here, for the port 1 we have allowed HTTPS, SS, HTTP, all the administrative access we have allowed from the management. But from DMG Internet 10 we have just allowed the ping to check the connectivity. Okay. Now I'll configure the LAN pieces and DMG server. Okay. So just go to this system IP 192.168.2.10. One we can use because for firewall we are using 2.10 and gateway should be firewall IP only. Okay. Now I should be able to reach the firewall 2.10. Okay, I am able to reach. So if I don't allow ping here, I cannot ping the firewall, okay, from this LAN system. So let's check that. So if you see here, now I'm getting the timeout. Okay. So why am I allowing the ping? So in case of any issue or troubleshooting, at least we will know that towards firewall connectivity is there. Okay. So right now, as I'm getting the timeout, I don't know whether firewall is up or interface is properly connected or not. That is why I allow the ping. So let's allow the ping and try to ping it again. So now we know that firewall is up, port is properly connected, and from our PC to firewall, reachability is there. Okay. Now we will configure the other system on the LAN. We can give dot two and same for DFG server. IP 172.16.1.1. Now I should be able to ping the firewall. Okay, I'm able to reach the firewall. Okay, so for now we have configured the interface. We have configured our LAN PCs, DMG servers, but we haven't configured any policy on the firewall. Okay, so it means if I trying to ping DMG server from LAN PC, I will get timeout. Okay, because there is no access configured on the firewall. So let's try to ping 1.1. Okay, so timeout. So to make it work, we have to allow some rule on the firewall. Okay, for that we'll go to the firewall policy and objects. So if you see here, right now only there is one rule, implicit deny. Okay, so this is default rule on the firewall, which means whatever traffic comes on the firewall, it will get denied only. Okay, so and you if you see here, log violation traffic is disabled, so it will not provide you the logs. So if you want to see logs on the firewall, you need to enable it. Okay, but I don't think. Okay, so let's try to ping. Okay, so it's just issue on the lab firewall because we are using EMNG, so logs are not showing properly, but that's okay. So we will just allow the connectivity from the LAN to the DMG. Okay, create new. In the name, I'll mention LAN to DMG incoming interface. So if traffic is coming from LAN, then we'll select the LAN. Okay, means who is going to initiate the traffic? LAN users. So incoming interface would be LAN. Outgoing DMG server. Source, you can mention a specific source or the complete subnet. So I'm going to create here complete subnet. Okay, in the type, you can select subnet, IP range, FQDN, dynamic device MAC address. So I'm just selecting the subnet and just putting the 192.168.2.0/24. Okay, you need to put the correct network mask. Okay, and what is the destination subnet here? That is for DMG 172.16.1.0/24. Let's create that. Or you can just mention DMG and specific IP. So I'm just allowing access for 1.1. Okay, so /32 service all. I'm not going to use netting here, so I'm just disabling the net logs as per your requirement. If you want to enable, you can enable, or disable, then you can disable. Enable policy should be enabled, and in the comment, okay, in the corporate, whenever you do any changes, you raise CR for that or change. So you need to mention your change number here, also the date when you are doing the changes. Okay, and sometime your username also. So during audit or during troubleshooting, you know, you can get idea like when this policy was configured and who configured it. Okay, so I have allowed access from LAN to DMG server for a specific IP here. Okay, it means from the LAN subnet, any users can connect this server on any port. So now let's try to ping. Sorry, I need to ping from this system. Okay. Now if you see, I'm getting the response. Okay. From this system also, I will get the response. Okay. And here if you reload it, you can see some bytes here. Okay. Means traffic is hitting to these rules. Okay. And same time if you try to ping dot two, you won't get access. Okay, that is why it is showing timeout. There is no rule on the firewall. Okay. So suppose if you want to allow 1.2 also, you can just create one more object. Okay. So 172.16.1.2, 32. Now I should be able to ping the 1.2 server. So after allowing the rule, if it is not working for you, at least wait for some moment. Okay. In the real-time environment, you might need to wait 5 minutes or 10 minutes. Okay. But in this lab, you don't have to wait much. Okay. Maybe 5 seconds or 10 seconds. That is enough. So now if I try to ping 1.2, it's working. So earlier you can see I was getting timeout, but now I'm getting the response. Okay. So both are working right now. So now we have configured LAN to DMZ access, but LAN users also need internet access. Okay. So now if you go to the LAN PC and try to ping 8.8. Which is Google Open DNS server, I'm unable to ping it, so I need to allow the internet access. So I'll create one more rule here. So insert empty policy above or below you can select. So I'm just clicking on above internet. Oh, sorry. So from LAN, okay, from LAN to internet. So this is internet policy. Source, you have to select LAN subnet. Destination, it is internet, so destination would be all only. Okay. Port, you can select specific ports as per your company policy or requirement. For now, it is a lab, so I'm selecting the all. Okay. So we need to enable netting here because in internet we use public subnets, and in internal LAN we are using private subnets. So both cannot communicate with each other. That is why we need netting here. So I'll just use net IP pool configuration, use outgoing interface address. Okay, so that should work for me. So what will happen here? Whenever this LAN user try to access google.com or any internet website, firewall will translate this specific IP in public IP. Whatever IP is configured on port 3, firewall translate this IP to port 3 IP address, and then it will send it to the internet. Okay, that is how this public to private connectivity will work. So we need netting here and enable the policy. You can mention change number here and the date and your user ID. Okay. The comment is very important in corporate environment. Okay. So never forget this. Now you can see this is the internet policy I have configured. As of now, there is no hit. Okay. So I'll try to. So now I'm able to ping 8.8. Try google.com. So it is saying cannot resolve. I haven't configured any DNS here. So let's just IP DNS. I'll use 8.8. Okay, so on this PC, I have configured the DNS also. Now try to ping google.com. Okay, so I'm getting the internet access right now. Also, DNS is working fine. Okay, so thanks everyone. So now I think you know how to configure firewall from scratch, interfaces, configuration of the firewall, and the policy configuration of the firewall. Okay, so we'll see the next part in next video. Okay, thank you so much.